Oh man, it's already time for this? You got a water? God.
Okay, so first impression. So I started off coming onto a spontaneous trip to Texas where I met someone who referred me to the internship program. And I really didn't have any expectations. I didn't know anything about Royalwood. The first time I came into Royalwood, it looked pretty different, very, very professional, innovative, it just stood out in the way they carried themselves. I think their culture stood out. So the first time I actually came to service on Sunday, I was not used to just the style of it, but I was definitely intrigued, and I was curious about it. I thought it was going to be very interesting, the internship program, just coming from just the first Sunday in general. And then the first day of the internship program, the actual day when we started off, we started just taking off stuff from, I think it was the Christmas play that they had. And the hands-on was very simple, but I think that I wasn't prepared for what was actually gonna happen for the next couple of months. I wasn't really prepared.
First impression, whenever I found out about the internship, for me it wasn't a straight off the bat, I'm gonna apply and I know that this is what I wanna do and hopefully I get in. It took me a little bit longer to be able to apply, just because I wanted to make sure that everything was kind of in place for me to be able to do this. So I didn't really have any expectations because I know that whenever you work for church or anything that has to do with church related things, there isn't a set schedule. There isn't something that you can really rely on a day-to-day basis, just because there's always something to do at church and things like that. So I wasn't really sure. I just knew the basic information as far as the requirements, as it says in the application. As far as our first week as interns, it was fun. First impression on that was they really have us working on the first day, taking down trees and sweating and putting everything in boxes. But pretty much it just felt like home. It felt meant to be, and it felt like it was God's will to be here with the interns and with the staff.
My first impressions is that it is way busy here. Coming from small old Minnesota, Houston, Texas, and Royalwood in specific ain't nothing like it. I thought I'd be doing a lot more drum stuff, but I expanded and I'd learned lights, media, broadcast, photography, everything camera related. So that was really good that I wasn't just focused on drums. I got to branch out and kind of get a base understanding of everything. My first impressions of the staff was that they are very upbeat and extroverted to a point. Some of them are more introverted than others, but they're also busy, but they're also chill at the same time. They have that very good balance of being when to know when to be serious and when to know when to be busy and go.
My first impressions coming here as an intern was how I thought you would see in the movies, where the intern is going to get coffee for everybody and they're going to the dry cleaners and they gotta walk, their dogs and do all this crazy stuff, and the bosses were gonna be mean. But clearly that wasn't the case. Coming here day one and since then, the staff has just treated us, amazing. You really start to feel like you're a part of a big family, and you forget that you're an intern, just with everyone being so loving, and they really give you opportunities to have your input and thoughts and projects and give you creative freedom, to really be a part, and you really feel a difference. And just being here, since then, it's just been amazing, and I am now definitely a part of the Royalwood family.
So my funny moment was one day I was going to the gym. I think I was going to the gym. We have an indoor basketball gym close by, and I was gonna go play basketball. It was raining, and I have tints on my car, and I wasn't texting. I wasn't talking on the phone or anything. So there was 3 handicap signs, and there was one where I didn't see it, and I just ran it over. I completely demolished the handicap sign, and I was freaking out. And I ended up talking to Pastor Macy the next day, and he was like, "Hey man, well, you know what? We're gonna start demolition on the parking lot anyway. So you know what? You just had a head start." And I was like, "Well, that makes me feel a lot better." So that was my funny moment for sure.
The only thing that comes to mind is the one time that we had to clean the costume closet, and Jeremiah sneaked out. So it was only Jordan, Nate, and myself. And we were trying on the costumes while cleaning them, putting on wigs and everything. And in the middle of that, I had called Nate over to help me with the box. But instead of saying Nate or Nathaniel, I said Nathanael. And Jordan was extremely confused as to what that meant. And it's just Nathaniel, but in Spanish.
My funny moment was Nate, the other intern here, was going to Whataburger, and so I texted him. I'm like, "Yo, can you pick me up something? Because I haven't had dinner." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, I got you." So I texted him really quick. I'm like, "Yo, I'll take a avocado bacon burger, no bun, regular bun, not the like toast bun, and then no tomatoes." And he's like, "Okay, I got you." He gets there. All of a sudden, I get like 5 texts in a row, and I'm like, "What in the world?" So I take out my phone. I see he's like, "Bro, what do you mean? What do you mean? An avocado burger? Avocado burger?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I texted you." And so I said, "Yeah, I want an avocado bacon burger." He gets home, and this guy said that I accidentally typoed and said acacia do bacon burger. So he went to the lady, he's like, "Yo, can I take an acacia do bacon burger?" The whole staff was getting mad at him, and he was so confused. He's like, "What the heck? What? I just ordered this normal, what he said." And that was so funny to hear the staff get mad at him, and then to see his reaction, man. That was funny.
We were shooting an Easter film, and we had Nate as our actor, and we only had one shot to pour paint on him, and the idea was that the paint was sin, and sin was defeated, so we were gonna reverse it. So first of all, we didn't know that we had to shake the paint, and we rented out a white studio, just a huge white room. So we had to place it perfectly to where if we missed, it was going to get on the white, just the whole white studio. And so we had Shannon with the paint, and he went and poured it and completely missed Nate. I think it got his fingers, and it splattered all over the whole white room. It missed all of our trash bags we had laying out, and we just all freaked out. And it was really funny and also really scary, but that was a really funny moment.
So my intern lead is Keith Pace, and one thing that Keith Pace is very good at is time management. So I definitely I felt like I had a better understanding on the value of time and time management, and how to pretty much use all these responsibilities and kind of prioritize things. There's one thing that he spoke about in a devotion that stuck out to me, was things that are important and urgent, important, non-urgent, urgent, not important, and non-important and non-urgent. And those things that I feel like when I learned about that and how to categorize what's important and what's urgent and stuff, I feel like it just helped me be more productive with the time that I have given on my weekly basis, just day-to-day basis. So yeah, time management.
I was given the opportunity at my home church to plan an event. So I was able to go to Sister Kaylee and tell her, all right, this is what's the idea of the event. How do I start this? And so she gave me a step 1 all the way down process to the last step of what's needed, your basics, the details of the event. So every time that I get an opportunity at my home church, I'm able to bring it to my team lead and tell her, okay, this is what's the vision, this is what's needed. How do I get started? And so I feel with that, she gave me a lot of ideas. She gave me the opportunity to be able to tell me, okay, this is a good idea, but what if you bring this idea? So it's always about the options, the intentions behind every detail, the connections, and just making sure that everything is handled as far as being able to assign people to help you.
Being in the office with a bunch of extroverted people, and at heart they might be introverts, but they've pushed themselves to become more extroverted. That's really pushed me as a huge introvert to become a lot more extroverted and really show myself more and what I have to say, and allows me to express how I feel or how I feel about this topic. Or just in general, I've gotten to be a lot more extroverted as a person, which is very good because in a church you need that. So that's been really good that I've learned that too.
The professional growth for me was, number one was time management. Being here, I was really slow at my job just because I wasn't used to the pressure of having something and then getting out, that same week or that next day. And so for me, time management and being able to be fast on your feet was something I really grew in a lot.
So spiritual growth. So one thing about the internship program is that you're going to be absolutely very busy. You're going to be very busy in the internship program, and I think you have to be very intentional with your devotion and your walk with God. And I feel like something that Danny Bernard, kind of like what I picked up from him, is kind of just we had a vision night, and he took out all the interns and he brought us back to the same place where he was kind of like talking about his vision, and he was talking about pretty much reflecting. And the scripture that he spoke about, I think it was in the Old Testament, how they would have built like altars, and it was kind of just to reflect on what God had brought him through in that season. So I feel like just to be intentional, just know where God brought you and where God is bringing you through, and just kind of like even in decision making, to always go back to the foundation and the ultimate source. So that's for me for spiritual growth, just like intention.
I've grown a lot spiritually through these 6 months. I feel like I've grown closer to God. I mean, working in a church, working with church-minded people who all want the same thing, you're gonna grow in God, and your walk in God is gonna grow because you're just around it every single day.
Spiritual growth. Working here as an intern, you're always on the go, you're always busy. There's always events, there's always something to do. One of my favorite things that we would always do is every Tuesday before we started the day, we would go ahead and do our devotionals. On Mondays before staff meetings started, we would pray, take 15 minutes to pray in the sanctuary. And so that was really awesome because the majority of the times we're always on the go. And though we're here at church, it's kind of hard to be able to cross that line between working and it being church, and also forgetting that you could be working, you could be doing all these things at church, but sometimes you can also forget your spiritual life, your prayer, you praying, your devotionals, and making sure that you have that encounter with God. So I really did appreciate that we would go ahead and do those things every single week. It really helped also that Sister Kaylee Bernard being my mentor, that she was always a resource that I can always go to if anything. It's really awesome to be able to see the behind the scenes of everything, but it's also awesome to see behind the scenes as far as the way that they approach things in a godly manner and spiritually as well. It wasn't just like, okay, the youth needs this is what they need, but it's also looking at their spiritual side, and that goes with every department.
For me, I definitely feel like I've grown spiritually, especially being here at the church, and every day you're always in a spiritual mindset when it comes to operating for service, especially being on the production team. We're telling stories through our videos, our cameras, our graphics, and so for us, we always have to be in the mindset of what's the vision, what's the goal, what's the message, how can we portray this and reach people. So for us, it's always understanding, like, what does the word say about this, and how can we make our Sunday experience touching through our department. And so yeah, you definitely grow in that spiritual side, and you really understand that like what you're doing is bigger than you. So for sure, I've definitely grown spiritually.
My advice for the next class: create a a garbage schedule and washing dishes schedule. No. My advice for the next class, I think it's good to come in with no expectation, but I think also come in motivated, come in ready to learn, ready to grow, ambitious to grow, and just willing to serve. I think if you come in with the right attitude, I think this is a place and a position where you can really learn a lot from great leaders. So just be willing and prepared and just ambitious and motivated.
My advice for the next group of interns is, I would say, come ready to work day one. I mean, I know me personally, at first, I'm not used to how busy it is here. And I'm the youngest one out of us interns, so I ultimately had insecurities and stuff at the beginning, and it took me a little bit to finally get to a place where I needed to be to learn everything and get ready to work as much as I am. But I'd say just be faithful and do the little things that they ask you to do, because in the end, it will pay off. It's just a matter of time until you see it.
My advice would be take initiative. If you see that there is something that needs to be done anywhere in church, whether it's a room, whether it's a task, whether it's getting ahead, take initiative. One of the things that I've learned from my mentor was she's always on the go. There's always something that needs to be done. There's always a task. And if there's a way that we can lower or make that task much more shorter and finish everything that we need to do quicker, then we can go ahead and do that. So I would say take initiative and just be willing to hear advice. If there's anything that needs to be corrected, be open to that. If there's anything that needs to be done in any other department that probably you're not in, be open to it too. Because when you enter into the internship, you choose 3 departments, but it's also awesome to be surrounded by so many other people that are in different departments, because though you're here for those 3, you also get to learn small things from other departments. For example, my department had nothing to do with photography, videography, but being able to see my peers doing photography and videography, I was able to grasp a little bit. If I see someone that's doing the youth ministry, that wasn't my department, but I saw a few things that I can also apply into my life, but also for my church, because that's the whole purpose as to why we're here, is to gain everything that we can and take it to our church. And so I think that will be my advice.
My advice for the next class would be to come expecting for sure, because you always get back as much as you put in. So being here, you really work at your own pace. So definitely put in as much work as you can while you're here. This internship doesn't last forever, so just come and take every opportunity that you can, no matter what it is, because it always leads, from one thing to another. And also, just be open-minded, be willing, be ready, to help at any capacity, and just be a blessing to, whoever it is. Because as much as we are learning and getting the tools and resources to learn and grow, we also want to be a blessing to the staff and to the church, and being able to help them teach things, or help the staff or the church see things in a new perspective. And so that's really what it's all about, is being able to build each other up in the kingdom of God. So I would just say, just be willing, come expected, and you're gonna do great here.
My name is Nate Hidalgo, and I am a Royalwood intern.
I'm Jordan Hebert, and I am a Royalwood intern.
I'm Jocelyn Castro, and I am a Royalwood intern.
I'm Jeremiah Lascuna, and I'm a Royalwood intern.